Alright everyone, and welcome back to another video. And today what I have for everyone is we're going to do the full software walkthrough for the Doogee V30. So we're going to go over all of the software aspects of the Doogee V30, as well as I'm going to let you guys and gals see how I have the device set up. Now I'm going to try and do this video as fast as possible, but I'm also going to try and go as slow as possible. So if you see a feature that you're interested in, you can pause the video and read the description on it and try it out for yourself. And then also you'll see any features that I don't like or don't use, I typically have turned off. Alright, so without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, starting off here, one distinction that I want everyone to notice right off the jump is that when you swipe down on the right from the top, you get your quick toggles. Alright, and you can customize your quick toggles by hitting that pencil on paper icon, and you can customize your quick toggles here. Alright, and then if you swipe down on the left, you get your notification shade. So this is very similar to iOS. With iOS, you swipe down on the left, you get your notifications. You swipe down on the right, you get your action center or your quick toggles. So Doogee have decided to take an iOS approach for their software skin on top of Android 12, at least in that aspect. So once again, you swipe down from the right, those are your quick toggles. You swipe down from the left, that's your notification shade. Now, you can possibly switch that if you don't like that with a launcher, because again, it's Android, so if you don't like something, there's a launcher to help you change it, right? But unfortunately, if you dive into the home screen settings, all you have to do is long press and you get access to your home screen settings, your widgets, and your wallpapers. If you dive into your home screen settings, there's no setting to change that. Alright? You can change your launcher style, which is something I showed y'all in the unboxing. You could turn off and on your Google feed, which is located to the far right of your home screens, right? You could turn on the suggested apps and new apps on your home screen, and you could turn on your notification bubbles or turn them off, but you can't get rid of that split pane. You can't get rid of that split pane where you have quick toggles on one side and notifications on the other. Now, if you switch launchers, you might be able to get rid of that, but with the stock launcher, you cannot. Alright? So I just wanted to show y'all that. And then to the far right, far left, we got our Google home feed here. Alright? Now, moving on here, we have how my home screen is set up. Now, I typically use one page. Okay, I use one page. I have my earbud shortcuts up at the top, so you can see I use my Galaxy Buds Plus the most. Then I have my Google Fit widget below that, and then I have access to a quick weather update shortcut there. Then I have access to Amazon Alexa on the other side, right? Then I have my most used apps below the weather widget, so you can see my most used apps. And I try to stick to the stock included applications when I'm testing a device. Okay, so you can see some of this stuff is the stock included apps. Others I downloaded from a backup that I had. Okay, so you can see the apps that I have in my most used area here. Okay, other than that, right next to that, we got a quick shortcut to settings. We got a quick shortcut to my smart lights, okay, my Casa lights. We got a folder for my earbud applications. Now, I do have a pair of Pixel Buds as well that I use on the regular. Now, for those of you who don't know, I actually use 3 pairs of buds on the regular. I use my Galaxy Buds Plus, I use my Pixel Buds, and then I use, I forget the name of it, but I use those buds as well. The last cheap pair of earbuds that I reviewed, I still have those. Alright, I'll link those videos down below in the video description if y'all want to check those out. But I have a folder for my companion earbud applications. So Galaxy Buds, Pixel Buds. Okay. Then below that, I have my Google applications. Okay. Standard Google stuff here. Okay. Then right next to that, I have my fitness associated applications. Okay, so we open this up. YouTube Music, Pandora, FM radio. Now, FM radio only works on the Doogee V30 if you plug in an adapter and it supports the FM radio feature, because there is no 3.5mm headphone jack on the Doogee V30. Okay, so you will need to plug in a USB-C to 3.5mm adapter and then plug your wired headphones in, and then you can use the FM radio, but it is built into the device. You just need that adapter. They didn't supply one out of the box, so you will need to purchase one separately. Okay. Then after that, we got my Zepp Life application. This is pretty much the application that goes with my Mi Band. Okay, they went through a lot of iterations of the app. That's the application that goes with my Mi Band. Then we got the Google Fit application. Okay, right next to that, we got my movie and TV show applications. So you can see all the applications that I use for movie and TV shows right here. Okay, I can easily recommend any or all of these applications if you're looking for some. Okay. Right next to that, we got my social media applications. Okay. Then if we go down below that, we got the main apps here. So the phone app is self-explanatory. Then all of my messaging applications here for business and personal use right here. And then we got my browsers. Okay. Chrome browser, Brave browser. Now, Chrome browser is good, but for extra security and when I want to do certain things, Brave browser is a little better. And Brave browser has a built-in VPN that goes along with it. So if there's something that I want to do and I want to have that extra added security, I use Brave browser for that. Okay, so those are my browsers. And then my camera applications. Okay, now I want to point this out. There is no Doogee third-party application. They use Google Photos by default. The only application that I added was Google Lens, because they don't have Google Lens built into their camera application, and I actually use Google Lens a lot, so I installed that. Okay, so that's my camera and gallery applications there, and that's how I have my home screen set up. And again, there's no other home screens there, right? And if I swipe to the left, that's my Google feed. I like to keep things as simple, as straightforward as possible. This way, it increases my productivity. I don't like to pick up my phone and have to dive into a bunch of different settings and folders and applications. I like to pick it up. Oh, this application is in this folder. Bam, bam. And I do what I need to do. Put it down. Right? And then let me swipe up to the app drawer, so y'all can see the applications that I installed versus the applications that were on here by default. Now, I gave y'all an idea of the applications that were on here by default in the unboxing. So I'm just going to swipe through so y'all can see the applications that I installed. And a lot of these pre-installed applications cannot be disabled or hidden. So I do want to point that out. I'm kind of bummed about that. At least nowadays, you should be able to, if you can't uninstall an application, at least hide it and disable it so it's not taking up system resources. So any of these third-party applications that you know you're not going to use, do not open them, because once you open them, you can't turn them off, you can't disable them, and you can't hide them. All right? So let's swipe through here now, and I'm going to try and go slow. And we hit the bottom. And for those of you that were wondering, yo, why you got Samsung Smart Switch on this device? Well, my primary editing device is a Samsung Galaxy tablet, and the fastest way, bar none, if you want to transfer things on Android is with Smart Switch or Nearby Share. Smart Switch is Samsung's version of Nearby Share. Nearby Share is Google's version of Samsung Smart Switch. That's the easiest way I can explain it. These applications give you the ability to share photos or what have you between multiple devices using Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or like a hotspot generated network that you can share things to and from. That's why I like to use it, and it makes it really easy for me to transfer files when I'm editing videos or creating content using Samsung Smart Switch or Nearby Share. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out there. Alright, but those are all the applications that I installed on the device. Now feel free to jump back to the unboxing so you can see the difference between what came pre-installed versus what I installed. Alright, now let's jump into the settings. Now, there are two ways to jump into the main settings on the Doogee V30. One, you swipe down on the right and you pull up the quick toggles, and then you hit that setting icon next to the editing pencil. That will take you into the settings. Or you could just tap on the settings application, which you can see I have on my home screen, and that will also take you into the settings, right? Now let's go through these settings real quickly. So airplane mode is self-explanatory. SIM and mobile data, okay? If you want to program your APNs after you install your SIM, if it does not install it, the APNs automatically, you got to come in here to SIM card and mobile data, okay? And then you want to tap on mobile networks, right? And then you want to make sure your mobile data is turned on. And then you want to come down here and go to advanced. You also want to make sure your MMS and MMS is turned on, so you get your picture messages and text messages, but turn both those on. If it's still not working, then you want to tap advanced, right? You then want to make sure that you have your network selected. So make sure LTE is turned on. Now the Doogee V30 does support 5G. So if your carrier supports 5G and the Doogee V30 has the supported carrier bands, you could turn on 5G and it should work, right? So you make sure that's on. You make sure all of that's on. Then you want to go down to where it says access point names, and you want to add the APNs or access point name for your carrier. Once you do that, you put in that information and you save it, okay? Then you want to select it after you save it. It's going to take your phone a couple of seconds, and then it should connect your phone to your carrier's network. If it doesn't connect to your carrier's network within 10 to 30 seconds, you want to restart your device, come back into APN settings, and make sure the APN settings for your carrier that you put in and saved are selected. That's how you get mobile data working on your device if it doesn't start working automatically. And that is a quick walkthrough of the mobile networks and SIM card setting area. Okay, let's keep going now. Then we got Wi-Fi settings, which is self-explanatory. There's nothing really in here for y'all to check out. That's self-explanatory. We got other wireless connections. Okay, that's also self-explanatory. And again, you can see Nearby Share is in here. And you also get the ability to share with Chromebooks if you would like. Okay, that's self-explanatory. Then we have our eSIM manager, because this device does support eSIM. So again, eSIM is a digital SIM or an electronic SIM, and it's actually a small chip that's built into the motherboard on your device, and then you flash the network protocols onto the embedded SIM on the device digitally, and then that's how you get your mobile data and networks working. So not only does the Doogee V30 have a physical SIM, but it also has a digital SIM or eSIM. All right, and if you want to set that up, you got to come in here and make sure it's configured and register your eSIM. Okay, just wanted to point that out. Now moving on, notifications. That's all self-explanatory. We should all know how notifications work. Now, it does have a multicolored notification LED, and that is really cool. Not a lot of devices have that anymore, so I was happy to see that. Okay, moving on from there, going down to sound, self-explanatory, display. Okay, this is where you access your high refresh rate or your light and dark modes. All right. Also, this is where you access your auto brightness, right? So to get to your high refresh rate, you tap advanced. Then down here, you're going to see screen refresh rate. And then this is where you can pick from your high refresh rate. Now, as I said in the unboxing, I really can't see the difference. So I'd rather have the battery savings. So I set mine down to 60 Hertz. Okay. You try it out. If you can't see the difference, take the battery savings and set it down to 60 Hertz. Okay. Moving on from there, this is also where you can do your screen timeout. And I was very happy to see this. Doogee is actually, again, similar to the iPhone because there's an option where the screen never times out. So if you put it on never time out, you actually have to push the power button to turn the screen off. All right. I set mine to 30 minutes. I like 30 minutes, but I'm really happy to see that they have a never timeout option. Sometimes you just don't want the screen to turn off. Maybe you're watching something, maybe you're doing something and you don't want the screen to time out and the system can't tell. So sometimes it would time out on its own and you didn't want it to, and that might mess up something. That's important for something like, let's say you were sharing files. Sometimes the system can't tell that you need the screen on when you're sharing certain files, and sometimes when the device falls asleep, it will interrupt the sharing process. So having a never turn off option is a really nice feature in my opinion, and I'm glad that Doogee thought about that. All right, but that's where you access that screen timeout option. All right, so that goes over the display, and then the other stuff in there is self-explanatory: display size, text size, screensaver color, lock screen notifications, raise to wake. That's all self-explanatory, so we don't really need to go over that. Okay, moving on. Sound is self-explanatory. Let's get into security here. And inside of security, you do have your pattern, your PIN, your password. Okay, but you also have your face unlock. Okay, and your smart lock as well. All right, but let me show you inside of face unlock, and I'm gonna gray out any sensitive information I don't want you to see. But let's go into face unlock. Let me gray out my password, and then inside of face unlock, I wanted to highlight this. So there is a feature in here to where if you tap on it, okay, you go into face unlock and you tap on it, it can brighten up the screen to help the camera see your face. Now, it's a 2D face unlock. It's just using the front-facing camera. It's not as secure as, let's say, an iPhone, but it is a really nice and convenient feature to have. And again, I'm happy Doogee added it. Okay? But also, you can add extra things for security. So you can see I have require eyes to be open to work. And then I turned off skip lock screen because I like it to land on the lock screen because sometimes I just want to check my notifications, and I want the device to be unlocked if I need to go in my device and do something. So sometimes I pick up the phone, it scans my face, I look at my notifications on the lock screen, I determine what I want to do, and I either put my phone down or pick it up and interact with it. But I like to have stay on lock screen enabled, so I always check off skip lock screen. I always turn that off because I wanted to stay on the lock screen. But that's a really nice feature there, and I like that they included that because some manufacturers don't include that. Alright, but I wanted to point that out for face unlock. And then if we go down, you can also see you can access your updates here in security as well. So you can check for the latest security update from the security here just by tapping on it. And we could check it now, and you can see it says I'm up to date, or at least by Doogee network standards, I'm up to date. So you can see we're running Android 12, and we have the September 5th, 2022 security patch. Okay, and you can see the last time I checked for updates was 10 o'clock, and right now we're at 10:42. So you can access your security updates from here inside of security, and you can also check out your Play Store updates from here as well inside of security. Alright, so let's check the Play Store updates, and you can see the Play Store is up to date. Again, we're running Android 12, and the Play Store itself is on January 1st, 2023 security patch. So although the main system is not up to date, the Play Store itself is. So that's really nice to see. Okay. Now it is like a month behind technically because we're in February when I'm recording this video, but still. Okay. And then the rest of this inside of security is self-explanatory here. Okay. Now, moving on down the line, got passwords and accounts. That's self-explanatory. We have applications. Now let me just show y'all all of the applications on the device. So you can see I showed y'all this in the unboxing. So I think it was like 53 apps out of the box. And you can see now it's up to 93 apps. Okay, so that way, if you didn't know how many apps I installed, now you know. It came with 53, now it's up to 93. You take 93, you minus 53, and that's how many apps that I have installed. Also, this is the only place where you can see your screen on time. And it's running Android 12, so you don't get the older screen on time that some of us may be used to. Okay? So the inside of applications is the only place where you can see your screen on time. And it does it with this new kind of graph. It doesn't really tell you the screen on time. Okay? But it tells you how many times different applications woke up your device or had the screen on during the usage period. Okay? And it does it for the day. Alright? But it doesn't actually tell you, oh, your screen was on for like 8 hours. Oh, your screen was on for like 10 hours. It doesn't do that anymore. Okay? But that's where you would access your screen on time on the Doogee V30. Okay? Now, moving on. I just wanted to show y'all that. That's inside of applications where you get your screen on time. Let's move on. Now, other than that, battery. This is where typically you would expect to find your screen on time. Well, this just shows you your battery percentage. Alright? You can see we're at 90%. 97%, my bad. You got your battery saver. Okay? And you also have, I'm going to show y'all in a minute, but you can program when your battery saver turns on. I just wanted to highlight that. And I do like how Doogee took the time to break down what each individual setting does with nice descriptions. That's why I want to go real slow in this video so y'all can read the descriptions. Okay? So you can do schedule battery saver if you would like. Coming out of that, you also have a battery manager. Okay? So this will learn your behavior and turn off and disable certain apps that you don't use as much. Now, when I am testing a device, I typically turn this off because I don't want it to disable my battery monitoring tools. Okay? Because I always like to show my work in my reviews. That's why I use certain applications to monitor everything. And with the battery monitor turned on, sometimes it can disable that and mess that up. So I always turn this off. But if you want to optimize your device and get the best possible battery, you want to turn this on and give the device like 2 weeks to learn your behavior, and then you'll get the best possible battery life out of your device with this turned on. Okay? Just wanted to point that out. But I always turn this off when I'm testing a device or putting it through the review phase because I don't want it to mess up my metrics that I use for monitoring everything, or my applications that I use for monitoring everything. Okay? Let's move on. But that's inside of the battery section here. Okay, and this is also where you could turn off and turn on your battery percentage in the battery icon up in the notification shade. Now, I have a widget that does that, or an application with a widget that does that, so I always turn that off when I install that application. But if you want to see the battery percentage in the battery in the notification shade, you can turn that on in here inside of the battery settings. Okay, let's get out of that. Then let's go into storage, so y'all can see the available storage after I installed and configured my applications and ran updates. Now, I did not put a micro SD card in the device. Okay, it's got 256 gigs of storage. I should be good when we talk about storage, so I'm not gonna put a micro SD card in here, but it does have micro SD card capabilities, and you can make that micro SD card adaptable, expandable storage. Okay, wanted to point that out, but here you can see out of the 256 gigs, we're using 28 gigs. Okay, and you can see the breakdown for the system, and you can see the breakdown for my apps, images, and videos. Okay, see that here. And you know, after each update, it looks like the system image gets bigger, because out of the box the system image was smaller, so it was taking up less space. But after each consecutive update, it looks like the system image is getting bigger. Okay, I wanted to point that out so y'all know. Let's get out of that. Privacy is self-explanatory. Accessibility, this is where you can get different shortcuts if you would like them. So a talkback feature, a magnifying glass feature, extra dim screen feature if you like to do things at night and you don't use like a light. You can make the screen extra dim so it doesn't hurt your eyes, and you can get all your other controls here as well. So timing controls, and then again, if you tap on it, it tells you what it does, and you can turn on the associated setting. Okay, system controls. Okay, so you can do that there, and you can also access your system buttons in another area I'm going to show y'all later, but you can access that from here as well. And then we have vibration and haptics. Okay, and you can access this from another area as well, but you can also access it from accessibility. Okay, let's get out of that. Captions, audio adjustments. Okay, so if you want it to be more one side than the other, because it is a dual facing stereo speaker setup, so kudos to Doogee for having that. But if you want to unbalance it or you want to tweak it, you can do that from here. Okay, all right, let's get out of that. Now, coming into location, that's pretty much self-explanatory. Privacy, okay, this is where you can control what applications have access to what, and whether certain things can push ads on your device. You do that here from the privacy settings. And this has been revamped for Android 12. So you can see we got camera access, microphone access, password visibility, notification access, so on and so forth. Okay? Autofill controls, all that good stuff you can access from here. Now, certain things I don't want to show y'all, so I'm not going to dive too deep into these settings because I don't want certain things to show up in the video. But this is where, if you were concerned about privacy, you come into the privacy setting, and you walk through it, and you turn off and on what you would like. Okay? Let's get out of that. Moving on here, let's get into fingerprint. Location is self-explanatory. Different apps will have different access to your location and control when it turns off and on. And you can see I typically have mine turned off. Okay, get out of that. Coming into fingerprint. Now, you can program a variety of different fingerprints. I have one program now, and once you do, it can do a variety of different gestures with your fingerprint. So you can see, you can program it to go back. Okay, you can program it to go home. You can program it to launch the recent apps. You can program it to take a photo or start a video. You can program it to answer phone calls and end phone calls, so on and so forth. All from interacting with your fingerprint sensor, registering different fingers. Alright, really cool feature. Wanted to point that out so y'all can see that your fingerprint sensor actually does a lot. It does more than just unlocking your device and adding extra security. I wanted to point that out. Again, feel free to read it. Pause the video and read it if you feel like I went through it a little too quick. Okay? That's why I'm trying to go nice and slow. Alright, getting out of that. Now let's keep moving. Now underneath the fingerprint sensor, they do have an additional side key or custom key. And this you can also program to your liking. So you can do a single press, you can do a double press, or you can do a long press. Okay? Now, for purposes of not wanting to accidentally turn on or turn off anything, I have it disabled right now. But typically, I set mine up to take screenshots. You can see screenshots is in here, and turn off and on the flashlight. But you can do a variety of different things with your custom key. So you can do single press, you can do all of these, and then you can open individual apps that are installed on your device. Okay, so that custom key can actually do a lot. Okay, I just wanted to highlight that. And then again, you have single press, double press, and long press. Okay, so that's your custom key or side key options, and that's where you would set that up inside of the main settings. Let's get out of that. Moving on down, we got our digital well-being and parental controls. That's self-explanatory. Not going to get into that. Google for your Google things or your Google application. Not going to get into that. That's self-explanatory. Then we have memory expansion. Now this is your virtual RAM or your virtual memory, also called RAM Boost or RAM Plus on different devices depending on the manufacturer. Doogee just calls it memory expansion. And you can see this takes up storage and turns it into virtual memory or virtual RAM to make your device go faster. Now, as I said in the unboxing, the device comes with 8 gigs of physical RAM, okay? But you can expand that up to an additional 7 gigs with virtual RAM or memory expansion. And once you set it, it will have to restart the device for that to take effect, okay? Just wanted to point that out. And you see I have mine set to the maximum, and man, it makes the device run buttery smooth, and I can actually hold a large variety of applications in the memory on the device. So I would recommend that you use RAM Boost or RAM Plus or memory expansion, but play around with it and find what works best for you. But I maxed mine out. So technically I have 15 gigs of RAM on this device right now, but physically I have 8 with a virtual 7, okay? And again, they tell you exactly what it does. All right, so I like that. I like that a lot. Let's keep it moving now. Up next now, we have DuraSpeed. And DuraSpeed is like an overseas RAM manager. And basically it does what the battery manager does. So it disables applications when you're not using them to save on memory and battery, right? Now, I've had so many issues with DuraSpeed that I would recommend that you just don't turn it on. And again, it's a pre-installed thing and you can't disable it. So if you don't want to have issues on your device, I would recommend that you just don't turn it on, okay? But you can read what it does and decide if you want to use it for yourself. But mine's, I haven't turned it on since I set up the device, since I started using the device, because the last device that I tried to use it with, DuraSpeed, actually ran into a lot of issues and I couldn't turn off the DuraSpeed. So I just decided that I'm not going to turn it on, I'm not going to use it. So that's why it's turned off, okay? So let's get out of that. And that goes over the Dura speed. And then we got safety and emergency. This is self-explanatory. So your emergency alerts, your OS alerts, your SOS alerts. So if you're ever in an emergency and you want to send different emergency information to different contacts, you do that from here. Now I'm not going to go into it because, again, privacy reasons, there's certain stuff that I don't want to get highlighted in the video, and there's certain things that I don't want to have to necessarily blur out, but you can configure all your emergency information from this page here in the settings. Let's get out of that. Then we have Smart Assist, okay, and this gives you additional features. All right, so we got Smart Touch. So if we go in there, you got different gestures based on touch, and it can do different things. Okay, with your on-screen keys. Now you can do different things with, if you set up the gestures as well, you can do different things. Like I said in the unboxing, I prefer the on-screen keys. That's why I have the on-screen keys turned on. But whether or not you're using the on-screen keys or the swipe gestures, you will have smart touch or gesture controls. Okay? Get out of this. And then we have motion gestures. Okay? So we do have a variety of different features that you can do with your Doogee V30. Really nice in my opinion. Okay? Now, a lot of this I don't use too much, so you can see I just have certain things that I don't use turned off. Okay? Get out of that. And then we have a night light. Okay? And you can control this and its intensity. Again, if you're going to be using your device at night, you really want to cut down on the strain on your eyes, because we only have one set of eyes and we can't get no replacements yet. Can you imagine when we can get digital upgraded eyes? That would be fire. Some cyberpunk joints, that would be fire right there. But you only have one set for right now, so you want to take care of them. So you really want to take advantage of the night light feature. Cut down on that eye strain if you use your device a lot in low light or at nighttime with not a lot of lights on. You definitely want to take advantage of this. Okay, get out of that. Then we do have a one-handed mode. Okay, so there's a swipe gesture to do your one-handed mode, and you can also do that gesture for your notifications. So if you find that it's a little difficult to get to your notifications, you can swap out the reachability or one-handed mode here for the notifications. Okay, and again, they give you a nice tutorial on what it does. That's really cool. Thank you, Doogee, for including that. I really like nice tutorials with detailed breakdowns. It makes things a lot easier to understand for me, especially when they give demonstrations. So good stuff there. Let's get out of this. And let's back out of here. Alright. Then moving on down, we got the system. And then inside the system, this is also where you can configure your buttons. So if we tap on gestures, you can do the double press of the power button to launch the camera, which you can also set up with your custom key. So you can use the power button or you can use the custom key. It's up to you. And you can see right now I have mine turned off because I typically like to use the custom key for that. But if you want to use the power button, this is where you would access it inside of system underneath gestures, right? And then here we can change our navigations, right? So you can use your gesture controls. So if we switch over, I'm not going to switch over because I don't like it. But inside of there, you can control your gesture swiping intensity. So how hard you have to swipe it before it registers. And then you can configure your 3-button navigation controls. And then if you tap the gear icon here, you can rearrange it and control what it does. So that's how you can configure that. So that's inside of system, inside of gestures or system navigation. Let's get out of that. Okay. And then this is also where you can set your time and date. You can do your keyboard inputs from here as well. So if you go to languages and inputs, you can change your keyboard stuff from here as well. Now I use Gboard, so you can see that's what I have set up. And I use Google for a lot of spell check and all that, so you can see that's what I have set up as well. But that's where you do that. And then also, you can do your backups and your restores from here as well. Inside of backup and restore, there's a restore option in there. And then you can do factory reset. You can see we have reset options in here as well. Okay? And it doesn't just reset your entire device. You can reset the network if you're having network connection issues. You can reset the network by itself, or you can reset the entire device. That's under reset options. Okay? That's that. And that was under system. Okay? Let's keep it moving. And then lastly, we come in here under about device, and this is where you can get important information about your device from the jump. Okay, so you can see now it tells you that this is indeed the Doogee V30. You can see we got the V30 model, and you can see it tells us a few things. It tells you that the memory expansion or RAM boost or RAM plus is enabled and set to 7 additional gigs. All right, and you can see underneath phone info, if we tap it, it will tell you how much internal storage you have, the screen size and resolution, and the battery size. All right, so you can see again 256 gigs of onboard storage. It's a 1080p plus display. It's 6.58 inches, and the device has a 10,800 milliamp hour battery. That's where you can get that information if you wanted to know. Okay. Then backing out of that, this is also where you can get your IMEI information. I'm not going to put that up on the screen. This is also where you can get your SIM card information. Now, currently, as of the recording of this video, I don't have a SIM card in the device. I don't have an eSIM set up. Okay. But this is also where you can see your Android version. And you can see this tells you the Doogee model that you have, also the build number. Now, if you wanted to turn on developer options, you tap your build number multiple times to turn on developer options. Let me show you. So we just tap, 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 tap. Let me put in my password. Let me grade that out. And now developer options is enabled. All right. But you can see we got our Android version here. This is running Android 12. And if I tap on it a couple times, it will give me the information. And then if I tap in here, it will give us the Easter egg. So there's your Android 12 Easter egg. All right, let's get out of that. Now, if you spin the clock, it would do different things, but I'm not going to do that. Let's get out of that. So there is also where you can see your build number. So again, this is the Doogee V30. I'm trying to make that painfully clear because I was actually supposed to receive the Doogee S99 for review. But that's not what I got, but it's okay. We're going to make it work anyway. All right. So you can see that here. Let's get out of this. And that pretty much goes over that. Okay. And this pretty much goes over everything that you guys and gals need to know in terms of the software on your Doogee V30. Now, between this software walkthrough and the unboxing video, you guys and gals should know everything that you need to know about the software running on your Doogee V30 device. So, I hope you guys and gals found this video helpful. If you did, you know what to do. If you would like to see more content like this, please feel free to hit that subscribe button down below and make sure you click off the notification bell icon right next to it so you guys and gals get notified when I publish new videos. Also, feel free to follow me across all the social medias. This way you're guaranteed to get notified when new videos become available. Also, if this video piqued your interest and you would like to know where you can pick up this device for yourself at a really great price, I'll have all the affiliated buy links and all the extended coverage links linked up down below in the video description when they become available. Okay, so down below in the video description will truly be like a one-stop shop for you guys and gals, and you should be good to go. Now, I also want to point out that this video will not be time-stamped, okay? Because it's very hard to timestamp things like this. So this particular video won't be timestamped, so you will have to sit down and go through it. Or if you want to ask questions, I can scrub through it and drop the associated answers to your questions in whatever comment you post. Or you can just watch the whole video and follow along and learn for yourself. It's up to you. However you want to do it, it's up to you. It's your time. You use it how you want to. But that pretty much does it for this one. I hope everyone is staying safe out there. I hope everyone is having a great day. And I will catch everyone in the next one. Have a good one, everybody. We are out of here. Peace.